Hello friends, today we are going to see what is software anti-pattern. So most of you aware of what are the design patterns and what are the principles of the software designing. So software anti-patterns are kind of new concepts, and we would see in this series of videos what are software anti-patterns and what are the use of this software anti-pattern learning. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so for this software anti-patterns, in this video we are going through some of the main topics like what are software anti-patterns, what are the contextual causes of the software anti-patterns, and why we should be studying anti-patterns, and some of the main software anti-patterns types. Okay, so software anti-patterns are mostly known as the common solution that are result or the cause of the defective process or the implementation. So most of the time the main solution or the idea or the design pattern which is provided as a theoretical solution are not the cause of the problem, but the cause of the problem is the way we implement those solution or the process we follow while implementing those solutions. So some of the commonly used process structure or the pattern of action that despite initially appearing to be an appropriate and effective response to a problem has more bad consequences than some of the good ones. So most of the time, so whatever the process we follow as individually or as a group, when I say as a group, then it comes as a kind of smaller project team or kind of at the organization level, complete company structure. What are the process they follow or what are the structure they have in terms of the problem resolution process or from the solution process. Okay, so when we see it as the initial approach, at the superficial level we find that all those processes or the solution patterns, those are kind of pretty harmless, and we think that everything is going fine and there is nothing wrong, but at the back of the end we find that some of those bad processes or the structure causes more damage to your end results. Okay, so we will now define what is actually a software anti-pattern. Okay, so software anti-patterns are kind of in another way we can see that for some problem there could be another solution exists that is documented, repeated, and proven to be more effective. Okay, so pattern is an anti-pattern if it is produce more problems than it solves. So most of the you may know that what are the software design patterns. So software design pattern provides us the solution for some of the problems which we repeatedly occurs in our day-to-day problem solving activity using the softwares. So the software patterns or the software design pattern provides us the repeated and experienced solution from some of the repetitive problems, but those what more important here is that the individual or the group should able to identify the problems and the correct solution to be applied. Okay, so one of the main cause of the anti pattern is that using the using the correct design pattern at the wrong place. So that design pattern concept is completely correct and highly efficient in the in terms of the solutions and the implementation, but sometimes we apply it at the wrong place where it is not required. So so that's why it is many times say that many anti patterns are initially a design pattern that sometimes evolves into the anti pattern due to some bad software practices or bad coding practices, or due to not understanding the scalability or the actual application of the design patterns. So now we will one by one see what are some of the contextual causes of the anti patterns. So one of the major thing is not knowing any better. So while we are developing any of the software or the projects, we have some set of people which have some individual responsibility as a individual or as a group. So the person who is going to do the requirement analysis or the architectural design, it may happens that they don't have many any much better knowledge about the field they are working. It may happen that they may have technically good knowledge about the programming or the computer architectures, but they may have lack in the experience in the domain expertise. Okay. Or reverse can happen. Some person can be having a good domain experience, but they lacks the understanding of the how computers or the software works. So both of these things contributes to the bad design pattern, which over the time evolves as the anti patterns. So not knowing better can be at individual level or at the group level. So there could be some gap between the domain expert and the system architecture. So if both of these people don't communicate properly, or there is some communication gap, then things can pretty go bad, and that may result in the bad designs. So next thing is not having sufficient knowledge. So it may happen that sometimes our domain expertise or our computer architectural knowledge may not be sufficient for the level of the complexity which system demands. And the next important thing is lack of experience in solving a particular type of problem. So sometimes it is way much better to keep some problems as unsolved or partially solved rather than trying to solve those small problems. Okay. So one of the famous quote about this is accept those things you cannot change and have the courage to change things you can, and wisdom to know the difference. Okay. So whenever you have some completely well-built system and it is pretty much complex, and there are some minor problems, or we can say simply one problem is there, and you should have wisdom to understand whether we should solve that problem or not. Means there should be always a cost analysis for that problem solution, whether applying the solution of that problem would really benefit to the system, or it would be very difficult, or the cost inefficient to solve the problem. So in that case we should have a courage to accept the thing and not change when it would be result in the more breaking of the system than the fixing it. Okay. And we should be wise enough to understand where we can change those things and where we cannot. So that's what this famous quote says, that we should have wisdom and the courage to decide which problems needs immediate solution. Next thing is using a good pattern at a wrong time. As we previously discussed, so these design patterns are the great solutions for some of the well-known problems. But we should understand for our particular case of problems, which design pattern suits more better, and we should be wise enough to select that particular problem at the right place. So it may happen that you have selected a very good design pattern, but you are using it at a wrong context. That would result in creating more problem for you rather than solving your problem. Okay. The next thing is obsessive use of one design pattern. So it may happen that within a team of people, some of them may be very well known or the well understood for some type of design pattern, and they excessively use or apply that problems to the every of the problem they see as a solution. So this obsessive use of single pattern in everywhere can cause a more problem to your solution than it actually provide you any help. So next we would see why we should be studying anti-patterns. So this anti-patterns helps in recognizing the ongoing problems in your design and development process at early stage or at the mid stage. Okay, so these anti-patterns are not the accident. They are slowly occurring, accumulating process. Okay, it doesn't happen overnight that your software project was working fine and suddenly overnight we have developed some anti-patterns and those are difficult to solve. So it never happens. Anti-patterns is very slowly growing process, and it takes years to build up your software to have anti-patterns. So in other word, we can say software anti-patterns are more related to projects or the softwares which have the long-term support or long-term development time. So studying this anti-pattern would help us to recognize the ongoing problems in the design and development, and we can have a preventive measures to stop those problems. Next is we can bridge the gap between architectural concepts and real world implementations. So as most of the software anti-patterns target to the gap between the communication of the domain experts and the computer architectures and software developers and the QA. So when we study anti-patterns, when every individual in the team or the project study these anti-patterns, it would help to bridge the gap between all those architectural concepts, real world problems, requirement to design and design to implementation gaps. Okay. Next, it helps in finding the underlying root cause. So many a time, whenever we have any software defects, we do a root cause analysis, but that is most of the time is limited to coding defects or some of the logical mistakes. But when we have a background of the software anti-patterns, or the team knows what are the software anti-patterns, and we learn how to recognize all those things, then it would help us to find the root cause at very higher level, and we can find out the patterns of the mistake, and it would help us to mitigate those mistakes over a time. Okay. Next, solution which we find out for those software problems or software anti-patterns that can be applied at various levels. So if we see the software anti-patterns occurs at due to the mistakes at every stage. It could be a bad programming skill, or it could be a bad design, it could be a bad architectural choices, or it could be a bad communication between domain experts and the computer architecture. So whatever solutions we find out for the anti-patterns that we can apply at the various levels, that would improve the overall quality of our. So next thing is software anti-patterns clearly articulate the collaboration between forces at several levels of management and development. So as we have seen previously, so these software anti-pattern solutions help us to apply those solutions at various levels. So we can have better granular solution approach for various levels in terms of the management and the development processes. Also, the software anti-patterns provides industry vocabulary for some of the common defective processes and implementations within the organization. So this is on the similar line of the design pattern. So what design pattern provides us is the common vocabulary for the common and effective solutions for the various problems. Similar way, anti-patterns provides us the industry vocabulary for the common defective process and the common problems or the implementation problems within organizations. So next is understanding the anti-pattern provides knowledge to prevent and recover from them. As we comes to know what causes anti-patterns, what are their contextual causes, and how we can solve those anti-patterns, this would help, this knowledge help us to prevent and recover from those anti-patterns, and effectively building us the very good quality softwares. So next we will see what are the types of anti-patterns. So first is software development anti-patterns. So this software development anti-patterns, as its name suggests, it is mostly related to development activity, which is mostly transforming code without impacting correctiveness to improve the software structure. Okay, so this software development anti-patterns would help us to have more clean code or more scalable and robust code implementation, which would improve the overall software structures. Next is software architectural patterns. So these software architectural patterns are more related to system and enterprise level structure of the application. So this include selection of some of the software platform frameworks, also at the higher levels, how our system architectural or the enterprise level decisions affects the software quality or the software development process. So this software architectural anti-pattern discuss about this kind of problems. So this is mostly a mix of the architectural and management problems. So next is software project management anti-pattern. So this anti-pattern mostly discuss about our software project management and planning related anti-patterns, and also it discuss about some sort of human communication factor uh, between various stakeholders in the project, which can impact the quality of software. As we have previously discussed, for example, if you have a domain expert and computer architecture, the human communication between these two people is very much important for the quality of the software. So so that's it from for our today's anti-pattern overview session. So in the next videos, we would see one by one various anti-patterns in the software development, software architecture, and software project management. And thank you.